Did you know that the first successful 3D game was Battlezone, released by Atari in 1981? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello and welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode number 73. My name's Gareth Briley. I'm going to be your host. And on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How you doing, James?
Hello, I'm very excited to be here.
You're not really. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me straight away.
After an event for 24 hours. I'll never get back.
And on my virtual right is Mr. Paul Renshaw. How you doing, Paul?
Good afternoon, Gareth. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. That's good. You always come at the end of the month, don't you?
I do. I like the last week of the month, I think.
That's
anything
nice.
exciting will have happened by then. So
yes, and it's something exciting. We haven't got time to talk about how we are, what we've been doing, because the reason this podcast is a little bit late is because in this podcast we're going to cover two events. We're going to cover on Thursday. We watched the Future Games event, which was fine, and yesterday we watched the I can never say it. Is it ID at Xbox? Is that right?
Yes,
I said that right?
That's the one.
Twitch showcase.
A Twitch showcase that we thought was going to last for 2 hours, which we thought was bad enough, but it went on for 3.5.
It went on for 4 hours and 15 minutes to be
did it?
absolutely precise.
Wow.
I think
Quarter
it's
past
still
8
going.
it finished. Yeah, I think in some worlds it still is.
Let's just really talk about that quickly. It didn't need to be that long, did it?
Well, I feel that if it wasn't that long, all of those various people off of Twitch wouldn't have been able to get their faces on there. But in terms of games, no, it didn't need to be that long.
No. It's a really weird thing, isn't it? I think sometimes there's a sense of when we're in lockdown, we're watching stuff on video. There's a thing of like, we've got to give people value. We've got to have that experience that people have if they went to a festival, of just being there all day and watching these things. And actually, I think people just like it when it's like quite quick. It's mashed up. It's all connected into an hour. It's quite smooth. And I think they could have put quite a lot of that into an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But,
Definitely.
even the interviews were too long. I think they're too dragged out.
They were quite cringy.
Yeah, seeing all the trailers and then the schedule for the interviews so people could watch whichever ones they wanted to afterwards rather than having no idea what was coming.
Yeah.
At what time.
There was a really weird bit as well quite early on, and I just put what we're going to do is we're going to pick, because there's a load of games. For the Twitch event, we're going to just pick 5 each, and we're going to just talk through them. So we're going to talk through quite a lot of games before we get on to the Future Games event. But there's a very weird moment right near the beginning. They just did a very quick montage of like about 8 games, didn't they? And there's some big ones in there, like The Lake, Cloud Gardens, Dark Alliance. And we never saw them again, did we? Unless I missed it.
We got no further information.
But we had
a missed trick.
Yeah, an airport for aliens currently run by dogs. Did we see any more of that?
I think I saw enough of that, to be fair.
That's my game. That's my game in the festival.
I need to know more.
Yeah, we need to know more.
What breed of dog?
Yeah, exactly. How does it work? Can you put your own dog in there? I want to know this. But so what we're going to do is we're gonna just pick, as I said, 5 each. So let's start. Let's start with Paul. Paul, what's your first game you want to talk about?
I'll talk about Exomecha, I think. Was that one of the games on that thing, or was that on the other one?
I think it was the first one we saw, the first trailer, yeah.
Yes. Big men with big guns running around, shooting things, climbing in tanks and helicopters, giant metal dragons, and big mechs fighting with swords. I mean, what more do you want from a game?
And it's coming out. It's first person, isn't it?
August. Yes,
August.
Apparently it's going to be released in August. So, yeah, 5 stars would recommend.
You know what it needed? It needed an original idea.
I thought I thought for a second you were going to say it needed a K-pop soundtrack, and I was right there with you. But,
that wouldn't have sold it to me.
I put generic, boring Halo copy before I saw the mechs.
I was quite offended by that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's not generic. Just because it looks like a mashup of Titanfall and Gears of War, it doesn't necessarily make it generic.
Yeah. But, it's an indie game.
It had a grappling hook as well, so it was like Just Cause. It's dragging in lots of different elements, Gareth.
Yeah,
I don't think you can afford to be so sniffy.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Too many elements.
James wasn't impressed. But, do we know if it's multiplayer? Is it single player? I couldn't work.
It wasn't made clear. I mean, from the trailer, it kind of looked like a PvP kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you were, sneaking up on people and executing them and stuff, and you wouldn't bother doing that generally in a PvE game.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's all about the humiliation, and you have to have something to teabag afterwards. So, I would say probably PvP. Looking at it,
I put down 14-year-old boys, and Paul would love this.
Absolutely. There you go. And 10-year-old boys as well. I showed my son the trailer and he was like, that looks great. So there you go. There's the target audience. 10-year-old for me.
It is, isn't it? Next. Yeah. Yeah. Good. So that's one Paul's really excited about in August.
Hurrah!
James,
Exomecha, let's go.
James, what have you got?
Where shall I start? Soup pot.
Soup pot.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. So... Go on, James.
I'm quite a fan of cooking games.
Mm.
With Cook Serve Delicious and Cooking Simulator, even Cooking Mama back in the day. But this is a more chilled out cooking game where you just have to make a few recipes and kind of build your audience, because you have like a virtual audience that follows your cooking exploits. You have to make. I think you get one recipe to start with, and it's a sour and savoury pork soup. But then you can learn over 100 different recipes over time. This is about mixing ingredients, making the recipes, and even tweaking the recipes, and hoping to get critical acclaim from the AI. I mean, if you're not excited about that.
I mean,
it
did look delicious. It made me hungry.
It did make me hungry. And that's a good sign for a game. If I'm hungry watching it, I'm buying it. So, I won't have to. I think it's for Game Pass.
It is for Game Pass, yeah.
In August.
August again? What a month August is going to be.
You can't. Obviously, we'll all be too busy playing Exomecha to play Soup Pot, but maybe you can get round to it in September.
There was quite a long interview between the two developers. That's quite interesting if you go and look at it, and you can look at it in bits. Yeah. And they both, I think they both made this. It felt like in lockdown a little bit, didn't they? They were trying to work out, which is quite good. It's a very funny interview as well. It shows you the perils of Zoom. They're both sort of like cutting over each other. One of them kept trying to speak.
Yeah. It was entertaining to watch. The two girls seemed, quite. They were quite excited to be there, weren't they? It was all like, this is like our moment, our 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
But I think the game, it did look interesting, and the way that the food looked afterwards, I must admit, I was sat there going, I've only just had my tea, but this looks good.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it does look good. It's a nice, and I think the social media kind of aspect to it is really quite good as well.
And apparently when you pick the ingredients up, they actually say their own name. So that's interesting.
What do you mean?
The ingredients say their name?
Yeah. So if you pick a carrot up, it'll go, carrot.
So do you know, does it scream when you chop it up then?
It cries.
Oh, what are you doing? Stop it!
I love you. I thought you were my friend.
It's cooked when it goes silent.
Yeah.
Wow, that went dark very quickly.
Wow. Okay, good. That's another one. So two good games there. And I'm going to start with a big hitter as my one, first of all, because we didn't know that much more, but it's 12 minutes, which was they kept promising they're going to see a bit more of 12 minutes, which is the game that it's kind of had an amazing journey. 12 minutes because it was shown maybe at E3, maybe 2017. And people got very excited about it. It had a different voice cast from then. It's got quite a famous voice cast now of Willem Dafoe, Daisy Ridley, and James McAvoy. And for people who don't know, it's a top-down. So you're looking top-down into an apartment, bedroom and living room. And it's a married couple, and then an older man arrives, causes chaos, and something terrible happens, but it's in a 12-minute loop. And then it goes back. And that's what we kind of knew before. And there wasn't any kind of visuals, any more information was there from the visual, and the trailer was still the same. But there was quite a long interview with the main developer. And it's quite an interesting chat. And I think a couple of things that we learnt from it was what I found quite intriguing. There's no instructions. I think you two, if I got this right, there's no instructions, so it doesn't say what you have to do, but you can sort of maybe pick up anything in the flat. So, for example, if you pick up a plate and do something with that plate, it will affect the loop in a certain way. Or if you open a door or do something like that,
and the butterfly effect.
Yeah, okay. And I think I found that really intriguing even more. Thinking, there's no instructions here. It did make me feel really old when the main guy was interviewing went, yeah, it's just like that old movie, Butterfly Effect. I was thinking, oh my God, when did that come out? 2000?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was the first one that kind of intrigued me. And the second point from it was he said it's going to be about 15 hours long, which kind of amazed me for an indie game. And I think it amazed the interview as well, didn't it? Sorry, James.
It's a 12-minute loop as well.
Yeah.
It's only 12 minutes, the whole loop.
Yeah.
So to find that many deviations to get 15 hours out of it is impressive. That's what you call replayability.
Yeah. I think it's going to be. I think there's a lot in there that isn't just about that loop being in 12 minutes, because it's really interesting about them not showing another trailer. He didn't want to talk about it too much because I think something's going to happen to it. It's going to be twisted straight away. It's going to be a massive. It feels like the good thing is it's still, for me, it's really intriguing still, and really, I can't wait to play that. And we think he was quite confident that it's going to come out in 2021, wasn't he? But there's no date.
Yeah, I think he said summertime, didn't he? He was
okay, great. August.
Yeah, well, summer. The only thing that was missing for me was a giant mech kicking down the door. It did look quite interesting. When they interviewed the guy, he was very kind of passionate about it, wasn't he? Which was nice to see. It was like, it's like it's his baby almost, and he's not going to release it until it's ready. And so, that was nice to see. Instead of rushing things out and then everybody going, "Why did you rush it? It's rubbish now."
Yeah, exactly.
It's good to see.
And is it on Game Pass, this one as well? Or is it?
I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing Game Pass at the end, but by that time, I think my senses were closing down just to protect themselves.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good. James, what's your next one?
Oh, me again, sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to swap it around. I'm swapping it around already.
Nobody Saves the World. That was quite interesting to me.
Mm.
It's from the developers behind Guacamelee, Drinkbox Studios. And it's an action RPG where you used to start off as a nobody. But then you find a magic wand. And from there, you can become a ranger, a rat, a horse, a magician, a strongman. The possibilities are endless as you try and save the world from an horrendous corruption.
Yeah.
Called the calamity.
I think it was a corruption, yeah.
Yeah, called the calamity. But I think I'm most excited because the amazing work they did with Guacamole. Because Guacamole was Metroidvania, and I hate Metroidvanias. I really enjoyed that. So I think they can make action RPG even more enjoyable than normal. Because the possibilities are endless. I don't know if you saw the mix and match styles of the abilities that they had.
Yeah.
It was so random. Yeah, I was looking forward to it quite a lot.
Yeah. Does look good. Paul, you interested?
I thought it looked quite good, yeah. It had a strong kind of whiff of Diablo about it, which is always going to suck me in, because I'm a massive fan of Diablo. So being able to... Did you see whether it was multiplayer or single player, James? Can you remember?
It looked single player to me.
Because, I mean, that sort of game's crying out to play with your mates, isn't it? All running around, causing chaos.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if it's single player, I'll still be interested. But if it was multiplayer, I'd be like, take my money, as they say, and as the cool kids say. So, yeah. So, the art style was interesting as well. So,
yeah, definitely a change from the usual, from what we've seen with Guacamole, and I think this is Severed as well. But that was quite angular, whereas this looked a bit more hand-drawn. Maybe
it did. Yeah, it did.
Looked very nice.
Good.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
And that's coming out. That's on Game Pass. I remember that. And it's coming. And when is it coming out? I think that's coming out soon. Is it August again?
It might be August. Yeah, it seems to be what they're aiming for.
Well, you say August for every game now.
Yeah. I think it's really soon, that one. I do think it's soon. I think it's maybe June or July, but it all blurred into one after a while. But yeah, it's definitely Game Pass. I remember that. Good. Paul, next one.
My next one, in that case, given that I am the TheXboxHub.com's official fishing correspondent, will have to be Moonglow Bay.
Oh, this is
because I thought that looked very good, particularly because it's about fishing. So, I mean, obviously there's some other kind of tacked on story, but the main thing to concentrate on is the fact that you can go out in a boat and go fishing. So,
and it's sort of set in a kind of pixel art world that looks a bit like, The Tourist. Have you seen that recently? That game it was on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, very similar.
Very similar look to that. It's really beautifully kind of like pixel art style. And I think you fish, but also you've got recipes to make. Is that right, Paul?
Oh yeah. Apparently, you wander off. You go out in your boat, or you go fishing off the shore. You catch the fish, and then you have to take them home and cook them, and then you put the resulting food that you create in a vending machine and sell it. And then that's how you make your money. As I understand it, I mean, it was a bit of a convoluted kind of procedure, but yeah, it looks interesting. So a combination of fishing, cooking, and Minecraft, if you like.
Yeah. A bit like Animal Crossing as well. It had a similar feel to that as well. That kind of, I think maybe it was trying to make money by doing recipes and selling it.
Yeah. There was another game that reminded me very strongly of Animal Crossing. It wasn't this one, and I can't remember which one it was for the life of me. But anyway, let's not talk about that one because I can't remember the name.
No, Moonglow
Bay, yes.
And that's coming to Game Pass.
It is.
That's coming out in August. No, I don't know if
it's... yeah.
I think that's coming out quite soon as well. I do think it's coming out quite soon.
Everything is fairly soon, within the next 2 or 3 years at least.
Yeah. It does look really nice. James, you like the look of it?
I think I do, but the story behind it is a little bit dark because aren't the fish that you're catching people that have died?
Oh, yeah. You're absolutely right.
So you're catching and eating people that have died.
Yeah.
Essentially. So I mean, it's a bit weird.
Nothing wrong with that. You two are from the north. That's what happens there.
It happens here every single day. Yeah. Whenever somebody dies, we take them down to the river and chuck them in. And then any fish that we catch after that point, it's just a bonus. So, that's when we're not banging our clothes against the rocks to get them clean,
Yes, good. I knew it was true. I knew it was all true.
You are such a southerner, Gareth. We're all civilised up here, We have electric in the house and everything.
Good. Right, next one, because we're rattling through these. We have to. Now, there's a game. Next one, it's mine. Is a game called Art of Rally, and
yes, that looked awesome.
And I've played this. Me and Neil have played this when we went to one of the big events in London town. What was it? Oh, I can't remember. One of those big ones.
Was it Rezzed?
Yeah, no, it's the other one. EGX. Yeah,
EGX Rezzed.
Oh, that's the one.
EGX is Rezzed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we played this maybe
Yeah,
2
right.
years ago, 2019, 18, maybe. Yeah, and so we had a go at this then, and it was brilliant. And I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I'm not a massive racing person like Paul is and Neil is.
You're so good at the racing games.
That's the problem. I'm too good. But this is great. It just looks good. The art style's lovely. It just has a kind of really great feel to it. It's relaxing. It's a bit like it reminds me of that. There's a BMX game where you're just going downhill. It has a similar art style. It's on Game Pass. I can't remember that. Downhill Rider or something. I can't remember. But yeah, I really like the look of this. I think Paul would like this. What you, Paul?
I honestly, I was watching the video thinking this looks amazing. I mean, it's such a minimalist art style again. You know, the cars are not massively detailed, but you can tell what they are. You can tell what they're supposed to be. And just the way that they were driving and drifting around the corners, it just looked fantastic. I thought this does look like something special.
And it's the music's really lovely. It's really minimal, and it's really a relaxing game to play. Sorry, James.
It's from the same guys that did, I think it's called Absolute Drift. I think Paul reviewed that.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was another one that was quite minimalist, but good fun.
Yeah,
So,
it looks nice. But all I could see was budget dirt. That's all I could see when I watched
Right,
it.
stop it, James. Come on,
James. Stop trying to be controversial.
I'm going to say low budget dirt. That's a budget.
It's so lovely, and it's already got some great reviews from when
It
it's
does
been
look
out.
very nice.
Yeah, it does look nice. But that's on Game Pass, and that's coming
Excellent.
out 2021, but we don't know when.
August.
Yes, August. Paul, your third one.
My third one, I'm going to have to choose Back 4 Blood, I think.
Blimey, all right.
Because that looked quite
Wasn't that
good.
the night before?
That was the night before, Paul.
Was
Hold
that the
that.
night before?
Yeah,
Well, I'm not going to choose that one then. I'm going to choose a
Breaking the
different one
rules.
in that case. I do apologise. Hang on, let me cast my mind back.
What about Death's Door? Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, Death's Door. Let's talk about Death's Door. Yeah.
Good.
Sorry, I really want to play Back for Blood now. Anyway, Death's Door. Yeah, this looks very cool. Starting off in in a kind of hub world. You're a crow whose job it is to usher souls to the next world or something, I think it was. And when you're wandering around in the hub world, it's all noir, it's all dark, black and white, very atmospheric. And then when you go to try and find these things that you're supposed to bring back, these souls, the world changes completely to a multicolour, technicolor kind of vibe, and it's all running around and fighting and dodging and shooting things and hitting big castles with swords. I mean, it looks very, very interesting.
Yeah, it does. It looks really, and it's by the Devolver people who did. What have they done before?
Some other games.
Yes, some other games, and I think it's coming to Game Pass again.
I believe it was a Game Pass one, yes. I don't think it was August this time. I think it was slightly later.
July.
Was it?
No,
Might be
I don't
slightly
know.
earlier. Then.
I think it's coming soon. James, you like the look of this?
I don't even remember it.
Oh my God! There's about a 4-hour interview with the
Even though
developers.
I wrote it down.
Oh.
I thought it was just my state of mind after watching that for that long.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
No, I think I vaguely remember it. It looks alright, but not my thing.
I'm with you, Paul. I think it looks really
Too
good.
dark.
I think it's great. James, your one. What's your next one?
My one.
Yeah.
I wanna get to Stalker 2, really.
Oh, God, God,
Because
yes.
I think we've got a lot to talk about.
Stalker, Stalker
I tell
2,
you,
people
yeah.
were going mad about. People were waiting for the biggest reveal ever. And what did we get, James?
Well, what didn't we get? Wow. We've got a very close-up inspection of various guns, including shotguns and light machine guns. And I was like, wow, who cares? But it got worse because he had an extra special treat for us at the end of an in-game character model that he gave it a dentist to work on. They took his teeth out. And I thought it's quite appropriate that he's literally pulling teeth.
Very good.
It's basically them showing off the graphics. And no doubt it looks fantastic. But people want more. They expected more. If you've got nothing, don't show up. That's what I said.
Oh, my word.
My goodness.
One of James's catchphrases. If you've got nothing, don't show up.
Throw in the shade, James.
Wow.
I
think what they were...
was going mental, though, wasn't it, for it?
They did
all
love
the way
it.
through. It was like, Stalker 2, Stalker 2, Stalker 2. And then it was like, look at all these guns. And everybody was like, yay! The girl that made me smile when we came back from that, and she went, well, I am blown away. And I was like, you're blown away again?
I mean, it did. I mean, what they were showing is like the amount of detail they're going to put in with the costume. Yeah. Their costumes as well, their little outfits and their guns. And the teeth thing was good because they were saying every character will have a different smile, a different facial expression.
That's what I've been looking for in a game.
Yeah.
I've been looking at these games thinking all these characters' smiles look the same. What a waste of time.
Well, the first thing I thought was I can't remember anyone's mouths. And maybe that's what they want to do. They want to change it so you remember people's mouths and teeth.
Well, yeah, and the guns. And boots.
I called, in my notes, I've put scratchy guns. What I mean by that, they had scratches on them, like they've been used a lot.
Yeah. The thing that I liked, I think it was in the shotgun, as they panned around the side, there was a very nice panel inlaid into the side with 3 little swans on. That actually stuck in my memory for some reason.
It went on too long, didn't it? It was a long time on those guns. It was about 20 minutes.
There was a certain amount of yes, this will appeal to the NRA or something possibly, but
that game's coming out in 2028, and it's on Game Pass. Yeah, it's straight to Game. Yeah, it's straight to Game Pass. It is straight to Game Pass. Yeah, we don't know when that's coming out. God, good. Now, is it me next? It is me next.
It's you next, yeah.
Oh, my word, what am I going to do? I am going to do a really good one, because I'm going to do one that intrigued me, is Song of Iron 2021, which was, I don't know if you two remember it. It's a game that came out on Game Pass, and we interviewed them on the podcast, I think. I think the game was called Until the End of the World, and it was this...
Until the End.
Until the End. And it's a sort of 2D platformer based in Viking mythology, and you go on this travel and then you meet these kind of ogres. Really hard. The combat was really good. I really looked at this and thought, is this the same people? Is this a sequel to this? How have they done that so quickly? It has a really similar feel to it. You're a kind of warrior Viking-y kind of thing, and you go on it. You're looking like you're going on this journey. It's quite combat heavy. There's kind of mythical creatures in there. It's a 2D or 2.5D, whatever they call it now, world. And it looked great. It did look really interesting. It's coming out this year. Have a look at the trailer. I just was intrigued by it because I'm always a sucker for these kind of like medieval kind of fantasy adventures. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it did really look like... I'm going to do a bit more research and find out if it's the same people involved, because
it's not.
It's not?
No.
I'll be angry.
Not someone that went to the same event as you. And they went, oh, this is a good idea.
I mean, it just really does look like the combat looks really similar. It's so weird.
Does.
It's so weird. Yeah.
There's probably only so many ways that you can animate a Viking hitting something with an axe.
But honestly, look at it. It does look really similar.
The only thing that stuck in my mind about that one was when the guy was sort of running left to right or right to left, whichever way he was going, and there was like this massive troll thing running out of the background to get him. That looked quite good.
Yeah,
I was quite impressed with
does.
that. But the rest of it, I just thought, meh.
It's not for you, Paul. It's not for
It's
you.
not for me.
It's for me to review.
Will it take longer than 35 minutes?
It will take longer than 35 minutes.
Well,
I'm going to guarantee
in that case, I'm not interested. Yeah.
Good. We're zooming through. This is what I like. Fourth one, I think we're on now. Paul, what's your fourth one? Shall I give you your fourth one? Is that good?
Well, I think I have a choice of two. I'm going to choose Lost Eidolons, I think it was called. Is that on my list?
Yeah, it's on your list, yeah.
Hey, there you go. Excellent. Yeah. I am a sucker for a tactical role-playing game kind of thing, right back from the old days when I used to play Advance Wars and Fire Emblem on my Game Boy Advance. Ever since then, I've loved that style of game. And this looks like a combination of that and a kind of RPG almost, where you have to run around and build your forces up. So yeah, I was quite interested in this because it looks like it'll be right up my alley, so to speak.
And that's coming out in 2022, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, probably in August 22.
22 August 22. And what was the other one you were going to do as well, Paul?
The other one I was going to do was I can't quite remember the name of it. It was the Final Fantasy.
Astria Ascending.
Something Ascending. Yeah, Astria. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the look of this because, again, I'm a sucker for a JRPG. I mean, the things that stuck out in my head is there's loads of guys to meet and to recruit. It looks really good that way. The main character that they seem to be playing as, this tall woman in boots, seemed to have something wrong with her legs because the animation was very shonky. But other than that, I think, because it's got a lot of the guys who did the Final Fantasy stuff. I think there's like the story writer from Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think he said.
Yeah, the music people are there. Being connected
and the music people is there as well from Final Fantasy XII. So there's a good amount of talent there. So I think whatever they produce between them should well be worth playing.
I think the art style looked great. I think it just looked really amazing and kind of really beautifully. It was almost like watercoloured, hand drawn, wasn't it? It did look, and it's coming. Coming to Game Pass as well. So
yep, it's all the different guys as well. There was so many different kind of almost species, if you like the little fish guys with the sort of goldfish bowls for helmets.
That's right. Yeah, of course.
I thought they were quite cute. So.
It's what's great about this game. It's a game that I wouldn't ever buy, probably, because it's not my type of thing. But because it's on Game Pass, it's one of those things I go, I'm going to have a go at that. That's going to be intriguing because I just really like the artwork. And I thought, I like the world as well. And a good pedigree. So that's good. Good choice, Paul.
Thanks.
Good choice. Talking about good choices, James, what's yours? Next one.
Well, where do I go from there? Because it's not a great choice, I'll be honest. It's a blink and you might have missed it moment.
Oh, yeah.
It was called Princess Farmer.
I don't know
Did you see it?
No, I missed this completely.
Well, you're in for a treat. Because it's about an ordinary farmer who wakes up one day to find that she can hoist up rows of vegetation to make match 3 kind of gems. What is it now? Like, match 3 or more gems, basically. That's what it is. It's a match 3 game involving vegetables.
Did you dream this? Because I don't remember seeing this.
That sounds amazing. Where does the name come from, Princess Farmer? Is the farmer a princess? Is the farmer growing princesses?
I don't know how she gets this princess moniker. I'll become the princess, which is definitely a farmer.
Right.
You have to make combos and make your way through the road, through the woods.
Are you sure this wasn't just something you thought about last night after eating too much cheese?
I kid you not. I saw it and I thought, wow, what is this game? I need it.
It's got you
and then
written
it
all
was it.
over it, yeah.
Was it in the montage of quick games?
It was.
Oh, right, okay.
It was.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, it's a match-3 game, but you obviously have to work your way through and build relationships along the way with different characters. In playing co-op, that'd be great fun for us to play.
Don't say us.
Um,
Don't say me or Paul.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's got you and Neil written on it.
You learn coins. You can spend on hair dyes and adorable companions. What more could you ask for?
Oh, it sounds amazing. I'm sold.
Death. That's what I could ask for. Slow death. Good. That's it's me now, isn't it? Yeah. Fourth one is Onmo. Onmo. I'm going to say it again because I couldn't work out what it's called. This came quite early on.
I'm glad you got it right.
I know.
The Twitches called it Omni 50 times.
Right.
And I thought,
it looks intriguing, this, doesn't it? What is it? It's kind of like it looks really cute. Is it a platformer? It's a kind of 3D platformer. It reminded me a little bit of kind of like Ori, a little bit, even though that's 2D. Ori and the Forest games. Just the kind of like the colours and the kind of way it looks. It reminded me of Rhyme a little bit, that kind of world. Yeah, I was just really intrigued by this. It looks great.
Is it the guy at Prophet the Rapper?
Is it?
Is it the Union guy? I don't know.
It's kind of
It's
a 3D kind of adventure, a cute kind of adventure thing that does look really good fun and really interesting. It's something I'm going to really like, kind of fantasy world. And again, it's come to Game Pass 2021. I think that's going to be August. And then it just looks great. I think it was one of the first ones they showed it, so it's one that I think is going to be intriguing. You too? Will you play it?
I don't have any memory of this at all.
Oh my god!
I must have. It was either in the half an hour that I missed when I was driving home from work yesterday, or it just completely. It went into my eyeballs and out of my ears or something, and I just thought, nah.
It was one of the first things on there, I think.
It was. I think it was the third one on there. Yeah.
It wasn't in that time frame then.
Yeah.
A wise onion.
It goes in an epic quest.
Oh, good. There we go. That's all you need. Good. We like that one. That's all I can say about it because I've forgotten a little bit about it now. I liked it a lot. Last three, you two. Let's start with Paul.
Can I go again?
You can go again straight away, James.
Can you tell me what I've got written down before I get to mine? Because I forgot.
Let James go first, and then I'll find yours. Yeah.
Well done. Go, James.
Right. It's the simulation game we've all been waiting for.
Oh.
It's lawn mowing simulator, or lawn mowing sim, I should say. And you get to run a lawn mowing business in the British countryside.
Oh, what more could you want?
I mean, you've got all the machinery you need from the authentic manufacturers such as Toro, Skag, and Stigger. Yeah, even Stigger.
It's like a dream. Honestly, being able to play even virtually with one of those lawnmowers, it's made my day.
Good. I think it's coming summer, and the best thing about it just said Xbox Series X. It didn't even say Xbox One.
Absolutely, yeah. The thing that I enjoyed most about that whole section was the way, you know how in Forza they're so proud of how they make the cars look, that you can explode every detail and open the doors and everything else. Well, they did this with a lawnmower. They were like right in amongst looking at the blades, and you could zoom out a bit, and it was just like, oh, this is lawnmower porn right here. And that's a phrase I didn't expect to be saying on the podcast this week.
and I was all for it. I was well up for that. It was an unexpected delight. I like a good inventive sim game.
I thought you were going to say, I like a good lawnmower.
I'm
never happier than when I'm outside putting stripes up and down the lawn.
That's one for James then. That's good. You can review that in the summer. Good. Now, Paul, you haven't got another one because I doubled you up, but I want you to talk.
You did double me up.
I want you to talk about a game that you probably don't like, Ascent, because I think it's quite. I think it needs a.
Okay.
Which is the Cyberpunk one. Let's all talk about that because it's unfair to say, Paul. I thought this is the one we saw. It was really early on, and I think we saw it in the Xbox Series X showcase, and it's a cyberpunky world, and it's like a it's a co-op game, so I think it's up to 4 people, isn't it? Like a shooter in that world, and it's what's a good game to compare it to? Those sort of top-down shooters.
Smash TV. That's the only top-down shooter I can think of.
It could be
a twin stick shooter.
Yeah, like Diablo or something. It could be a bit Diablo, maybe.
Could be. If it was Diablo-y, you'd think it would have stuck in my head more.
I think you missed this whole bit at the beginning.
I might have done, to be honest.
Yeah. I think it's fair enough. You had a lot on.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's good.
Do apologise.
I think this looks good. And I hate these kind of games. And I would play this. And it's on Game Pass. So it would be free. It's coming out 2021. And yeah, a bit of co-op shooty stuff for free. What do you think, James?
Oh. I think I'd rather do co-op lawn mowing.
Some one person drives and the other person empties the grass bin, yeah?
Oh, no. This is like porn to James. Describing this.
He does sound like he's getting into this a bit.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, co-op, if it's a co-op shooty thing, then I'd be all for it. I do like a bit of co-op action.
I think you'll like this, Paul. I think this is right up your street.
You're probably right, and as soon as I finish chatting to you boys, I'm going to have a look at the trailer on the YouTubes and see. But...
Yeah, I think this is one for you definitely. The last game we've got to chat about is a game which I'm going to talk about. It's called Last Oasis, and it's a game that's there's a game called Lone Sails that came out. It was a brilliant indie game, one of the best games of last year, and it's you sort of like. You go into a ship, and it was like a little, left to right kind of 2D world, and you take this kind of old, kind of rusty ship across this kind of landscape, and you have to control all bits of the ship to make sure it's repaired, and then get out, open doors, and then go back in. This is this, but it's in a kind of survival world, like a player versus player world, where you kind of build your ship up. Get lots of items for it, put it together, make sure you're fed and got water, then you take your ship out and travel the world, and then you meet up with other people who've got ships, and you can, there's events, real-time events to fight. From the trailer, the world looked great. I thought the world looked really interesting, and I've just sort of read a couple of things from people, because it's been out on PC for a while. Well, not a long while, and it's some nice kind of feedback from people. I think people really love the idea of just being in the world, rather than maybe the person versus person kind of action or joining up in clans. But I'm intrigued by it. And also, I'm going to do the preview for us for it, I think. So we might have a preview code coming out, so look out. There might be a stream, and there might be some more words from it very soon, because it's out now, the preview on Xbox One and Series X. You two like the look of this, or not for you?
Was this the one where you were like in a ship, but the ships had legs and they were running around, looked like spiders a bit?
Yeah, I think that's
it. And then there was also a bit where it showed a bloke with a bedsheet tied to his back and he could fly. Is that am I thinking of the same
I'm going with that. I'm going with that, Paul. Yeah.
So I thought it looked quite interesting. The motion of the legs of the ships in particular, I thought was quite intriguing. So, I thought that it certainly got potential. And obviously, I'll be looking out for your stream and your words, Gareth, because you are my guide of all things gaming.
Absolutely.
But I thought it did look quite interesting, I thought.
Good. James, am I your guide for all things gaming?
Definitely not. If you don't like it, I'll give it a go.
Good. Right, I'm going to move us on, because that's the end of all the stuff. I'm just going to mention really briefly one thing. Do you remember that they announced that the dinosaur hunting game is coming out called Extinction.
Second Extinction.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought that was quite good as well, actually, because it was big and shooty.
That's coming out April the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't look as good as it did in the original Xbox Series X announcement. It looks like it's been downgraded quite a lot. Did you think that, James?
I don't remember it.
Oh, there you go. Fine.
Oh, is it one that looks like Turok?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Oh, it looks like Turok.
Yeah.
And I just switched off.
Okay, good. Well, we'll find out April the 28th very soon, a month's time. We're going to really briefly go on to Future Game Show, which happened on Thursday night. Sorry, James.
Can we run point about? Is it Last Stop?
Yes, which is the British kind of like game. Yeah.
I've heard good things about this. And I watched the footage that they showcased.
Yeah.
And what was it? What were we trying to achieve? And it was such a bland, like, Telltale experience.
Yep.
I don't know if you got that as well.
Yeah, I did. It wasn't
very awkward.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
No.
But I've heard some good stuff about it. So hopefully, it didn't show off the game very well, I don't think.
No. Sorry.
That's all right. We're going to go straight into the Thursday night's Future Games show stuff, which is good. Some good stuff in there. I think we've got 3 each, haven't we, to get through? Paul, what's your one? What's the one that you intrigued you?
Well, I may have sort of trailed this slightly earlier, but I liked the look of Back for Blood. At the time that Left 4 Dead was out, I never really got into that. And by the time I discovered how much fun it was, everybody had stopped playing it. So I'm quite excited to do 4-player co-op zombie shoot them in the face games. So I'm hoping that it's going to be as good and as exciting as it looks.
And it's been delayed from the summer to October, I think now, hasn't it? October 22nd.
But we're going to gloss over that just because, it still looks good. And I'd rather they got the game finished in a fixed state than we had another Cyberpunk on our hands.
Yeah. I tell you what I was impressed with. The first 5 or 10 minutes of it, I was like, oh no, they're all got quips and they're all doing things like telling jokes to each other before characters. And then I was like, and then it just looked a bit the same, but then when they appeared in that kind of open environment and that huge creature appeared, this huge kind of mega zombie appeared, didn't it? That looked very good. That looked really good. And when they had said you could have the choice to stay or run away and come back later on, that was really good. When they ran and then it came through the doors, I was like, yeah, that's impressive. That's fun.
Yeah, it's not a tough choice, is it? There's a massive, great big zombie there. We've got little pea shooters. What should we do? Should we stay and fight, or shall we just run away?
Yeah.
I think, let's run away.
I think that's going to be exciting for a lot of people, that game. And I think, it's going to be one that people are going to love. So, like you've said.
Again, a co-op thing. So being able to play with people as well. I mean, there was, if I'm right, there was a mode in Left 4 Dead where you had like a team of players and a team of zombies. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, imagine getting to play that giant thing and chase all the players there. And I think that would be quite exciting also.
Yeah. Good. James, what's your first one?
I think mine was on the pre-show. The Daedalic section of the game show. It was Life of Delta.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
It's a point-and-click adventure. And we know that Daedalic are quite good at those. Because they did Edwin Harvey, Deponia. So they're well-versed in that. And this one's about... he's a service robot. He's just trying to get by, live his life like every other robot in a post-apocalyptic version of Japan, which intrigued me. But yeah, he's then forced to embark on a quest to save his friend, which will then lead him to having to build things and modify equipment to make it and find him. And I thought, they know how to do minigames, and they're using the best parts of point-and-click adventures. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing the different minigames that they've got in that one. Because it's supposed to be over 50. That's quite a lot.
Yeah.
For a point-and-click.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just looked really nice.
Yeah, it did. It did, I agree. It was really
I think
good.
it's hand-painted as well.
Yeah.
Which is a plus in my mind. But yeah, I was really enjoying that one.
I like the way you went then, my mind. It was like you were thinking about your mind really deeply and getting worried.
I didn't really get lost in there. It's a dark place.
Yeah, it does look good. Really good choice. Good one. I realise I haven't written any of these down for myself. I got you lot to write down what your ones are, but I haven't
Can I
got
pick one for you?
I'm gonna pick one. And I know I'm not doing that. We've done that. I'm going to do Of Bird and Cage. Now, the reason I'm doing this, it was the interactive rock opera game.
Oh, yeah, this looked great.
Based on Beauty and the Beast. And it looks like a game that could fall flat on its arse. Or be absolutely brilliant. And based on Beauty and the Beast, it kind of, I don't know what was going on. There was a kind of woman, and there was kind of like she had an imaginary beast friend or something going on. But there was lots of like quite hardcore rocky stuff compared with some musical stuff as well. And it was like, it just looked great. This is inventive. I like this. I'm in. Sorry, Paul. What you say?
No, I agree completely. It was it wasn't so much the game; it was the soundtrack. I was really getting into it. Sat there at my desk yesterday, egg banging away as it was as they were blaring these tunes out. It certainly looked interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, there seemed to be quite a lot of choices to make. Like at the end of the trailer, she'd got a baseball bat and the baseball bat. Sorry, and the choice seemed to be whether to cave this guy's head in or let him go or do whatever. Yeah. There was a lot of choices. You know, do you go left? Do you go right? And then they were singing what was happening on the screen, which I thought was very, very clever.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's only two ways it can go, really. It can either be a roaring success or it's going to be, what is this?
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully roaring success. We don't know when that's coming.
They have a great soundtrack, either way.
Exactly. Paul, what's your next one?
I can't remember, Gareth. What's my next one?
Why don't we go for Serial Cleaners?
Oh, Serial Cleaners. Yes. Well, I reviewed the original Serial Cleaner. It might have been for a previous website, actually, because it's quite a while ago now. And I really enjoyed it. It was very, very different. The whole kind of 70s vibe of the game was fantastic. The way you had to sneak around and dispose of dead bodies and clean up afterwards so that there was no blood. So the police couldn't obviously think, there's no crime being committed here. And now with the choice of the sequel, it seems like you get a choice of more than one cleaner with different styles and different approaches. So I thought that looked very good. I mean, I've got very fond memories of the first game. So as long as they just do the same again, but in different places, and then it's sold, I'll have it.
I didn't even realise it was a follow-up. I've never heard of it before. So
it's a really good game. If you like oddball games, which I know you do.
Yeah.
It's so different from anything else I'd ever played. I really enjoyed it. If you can imagine a guy with an afro in platform, do you know, there's the standard kind of 70s kind of gear, running around a crime scene with a Hoover vacuuming blood up. It's really, really quite funny while avoiding the police and everything else. It was very good.
Good. I like the look of that. Yeah, definitely. James, what's your next one?
I think I have to go with... See, I don't know how to pronounce this.
It's a hard one, isn't
it? Inculinati?
I think that's good. I'll go with that. Yeah.
It is an ink-based, turn-based strategy game that's derived from medieval tapestry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I quote, it's a game where a rabbit's bum can be deadlier than a dog's sword. If that doesn't select you, I don't know what will.
Yep, sold.
But yeah, it's going to be a strategy game with a lot of humour and depth.
Yeah. And the visuals look amazing because they've gone for that medieval tapestry look. And those ones of rabbits and dogs and all that stuff is real. That's what they had in some of those tapestries. And so what's really clever about it is they just looked at that and go, let's make a game out of this weird stuff that's in these medieval tapestries. Yeah. It's brilliant. Yeah. I love the look of this. Yeah.
I thought the look of it was very was very inspired, if you like. It was like, when you look at the old books and they've illuminated a manuscript and like the first letter will be massive and in full colour and everything else. They were fighting almost in those panels, weren't they, as well? Yeah. So it looked very interesting, I thought.
Yeah, it does really good. Very unique.
Very unique.
Very
like
unique.
That.
Yeah.
We like these games that are a mishmash of every other game with like a nice original concept.
Yeah, with games like Exomecha, though, I mean, obviously is going to blow this out of the water, but in August.
Yeah. Now, the ones we said at the moment, we don't know when, apart from Hidden Deep, we know it's coming out in 2021, but we don't know when the others are coming out. We haven't said.
I think it's 2022 for Inculinati.
Yeah.
I think it's 2022.
My next one is I'm going to go for Glitch Punk. And the reason I'm going for Glitch Punk is it's a game that they produce. It's like an original GTA, which was the first couple of ones, GTA 1 and 2, and the one in London, which was top-down GTA.
Yeah,
so it's using that world, and it has a mixture of kind of Watch Dogs as well. And I mean Watch Dogs as in the ability to kind of like hack people's phones around you. So it has both those elements in there. And I thought, I could go back to that. I'd like to have a go at that again. I really enjoy GTA. I love GTA as it is now, but I loved GTA when it was top down. There's something I really liked about that world and seeing that world top down and playing around with it. And this looks like it's just doing that. It has its own inner cyberpunky world. I thought that looked good. I don't know what you two thought. Did you forget about it? Was it boring?
No, I saw it and I thought exactly the same as you. This looks like the original GTA, because obviously we're old enough to remember that.
We are, yeah.
But I thought I wasn't a massive fan of GTA in those days. I'm not a massive fan of GTA now, if I'm absolutely honest.
No.
But I thought it looked interesting. It was like a proper throwback to my gaming youth.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your next one, James? Oh, Paul, what's your next one? I'm going to miss it.
What's my next
one? Last
one. Did I choose the one that looked a bit like Doom? That I can't remember the name of.
No, you didn't. But you could have it if you want. No, the other one you chose, I think, Paul. I'm drastically looking through our notes.
I was going to say, if you suddenly come up and say, what you chose is this point and click one, I'll know you're fibbing.
But I think you should go for Quantum Error. Go for it.
That was the one. That basically just looked like Doom. And it's a big man with a big gun shooting big monsters. I mean, sold.
On a spaceship.
I'm a man of simple taste.
Yeah, that's a big gun.
Yeah, I don't know where he was keeping them all when he kept changing. I thought that was quite entertaining, yeah. Let's pull out this railgun from my pocket. So, yeah. But I thought it looked good.
The only thing I thought about it looked very slow. It didn't look high speed.
Maybe it's a considered shooter. Maybe it's a game where you have to use all of your tactical sort of knowledge and spatial awareness to make sure you shoot the guys in the right way.
And there was one bit when he was dragging a body like a friend, an astronaut, and it went on for about 10 hours.
Yeah, I did wonder about that because he didn't look so clever, the friend, either. He didn't look like he was going to pull through. So it just been a case of, you know what, I'm just leaving you there.
Just leave it, mate. Leave it. There's a huge creature. Yeah. Yeah. Good. That's Quantum Error. We don't know when that's coming out, do we? James, what's your last one?
I was going to go with Chris Tales. I might change that, if that's okay.
That's coming out in July. Just so I'll let you know. Yeah.
Well, there wasn't much to see, was there?
No.
Just a few new characters, really. What was the one that I quite... Saviour. Saviour was quite interesting.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Only because it's almost everything that I despise. But I was really interested in it.
Oh.
It was in a very retro visual palette, but it was modernised. It was a platformer where everything seemed quite fluid, like the movement and the fighting. I mean, the fighting looked very complicated because you had to read what your opponents were doing, and it seemed quite surrounded by the enemies. But yeah, I thought they've really done a good job of modernising a retro action platformer, and I really like that one. Savior.
I've just put in my notes hard fighter.
Was that the one where it was saying like if you get surrounded it's harder and you have to like jump over the low sweeps and attack and
I thought
the same things that you did. I thought this fighting system actually does look very challenging. You've got to read what they telegraph the attacks quite well. But I imagine as you get further into the game, they're going to telegraph it and give you less time to react.
By then you've learned the system, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it certainly looked challenging, like you say, and I think I was quite interested in that one as well. I'd forgotten the name of it until now, but as you were describing it, it came back to me. So
I think the movement as well was still like parkour.
Oh yes, I remember it now. It did look really good actually. Yeah, it looked great.
She did a backflip to get away from an arrow, as I remember.
Yeah,
it looked pretty good. Yeah,
it looked so much better than it could have been.
Yeah,
No,
the world looked great as well. The kind of the world and the story. Yeah, it looked really good. Actually, I'm with you 100% on this. I think it's great.
Hurrah!
Looks great. 2022. Now I've got one more before we go, and I can't decide which one it was. I'm going to go for 3 really quickly. Arctic Adventure 2022 episodic. First-person adventure looks great. I'm going to go for Honey, I Joined a Cult, which is from Team 17, which is like...
It looks like Escapist, that one.
It's the same thing, but a cult. That looks good. And I think that's... And I tell you what, this is another thing. Elite Dangerous. I fancy going back to Elite. I've been to Elite for ages, but they've got the whole new DLC world where you can go on the planet and stuff like that. I fancy that again. I might do it. No one else will do.
No one's joining you.
You're on your own. Off you go.
I think I preferred the Future Game Show to the other one, to the Xbox ID one. I think
it's better paced.
Yes, better games.
And it's a bit more to the gameplay. Although I've got to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed with Martha is Dead. Only because I thought it was a continuation in the Snyderverse. In DC Comics. I thought it was Batman versus Superman. The sequel.
Have you written that joke down? You've written that down last night.
I haven't. I swear.
Not going to get this in. Hopefully I'm not going to cover this. I like it though, James. I like it. Right, you two. Thank you very much. Now, who said we couldn't get this in under an hour? We're nearly there, just over a little bit. Gentlemen, where can we find you if you want to chat to you again? Paul?
Nowhere.
No, good, that's that done. We can get you on the Xbox Hub.
You can get me on the Xbox Hub or possibly on the Xbox Network, as it's now called. It's not Xbox Live anymore. But that's the only sort of thing I do. So, yes.
James, where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter, Instagram, @OKidUKO.
Great. James, very quickly, did you like the Suicide Squad new trailer? Because I know you're a big DC fan. It's very funny.
I did. It was very good.
Very good.
And John Cena is going to be the star.
And the King Shark, the Sylvester Stallone voice in that. Yeah, that was very funny. Watch that if you get a chance to. You can find me at GB Variety on Twitter and Twitch. But for now, gentlemen, thank you so much. Well done for watching these 10-hour events.
Now we can sleep.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.